This is Tata, and welcome to Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Monday, June 12th, 2023, and tonight I will be talking about Monday Night Raw. Alright, so let's kick things off actually with the opening segment to Monday Night Raw, Rhea Ripley's championship presentation. So, as we've seen over the last week, Roman Reigns got a new title, Asuka got a new title, so Rhea Ripley is now getting a new title. So, we found out that Asuka's title is called the WWE Women's Championship, and Rhea Ripley's title is called the Women's World Championship, which, if you ask me, is probably the better move because if ever in the future or next year they get drafted, they just take those titles and we don't have to worry about any mix up of titles like we got with this draft. And Rhea's title is an exact replica of Seth Rollins' title except with white straps. I guess it could have been worse, but I really wish they would have been a little bit more creative and given Rhea a completely different design. And I would have wished they would have given Asuka a complete different design too, but they didn't. So Dominic comes out and he says he will always be there to support Rhea because behind every great woman is a great man. And Cody Rhodes interrupts him and he says that he asks Kansas what they want to talk about. He says that they could talk about Rhea's new belt and her legacy. And instead, Cody Rhodes replaced that slap from last week. He says he doesn't think Lesnar has the balls to face him, and Cody challenges Dominic to a match at Money in the Bank. So, how do you guys feel about Cody Rhodes challenging Dominic to a match at Money in the Bank? They're obviously stalling for Lesnar. Only head scratcher about Asuka's title is why this is undisputed on the main plate. I wholeheartedly agree with the rebranding decision and the new titles. Better to not have them labeled as Raw and SmackDown as they don't the obnoxious chatter that occurred following the draft. Exactly. That's what I agree with that too. So now that we have those new belts, I wonder if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to be getting new titles. We should go back to kind of how things were at the Ruthless Aggression era, where Raw had the world titles and SmackDown had the WWE titles. So I feel like now that we've taken care of all these titles, we needed to work on taking care of the tag team titles so that SmackDown can have their own tag team division and Raw can have their own tag team division. So Dom says that he embarrassed Cody just like he would anybody. And the crowd starts chanting music. I mean, the kind of heat that Dominic gets is freaking insane. Like, you can't even hear him talk half the time because the crowd is so loud. So Rhea Ripley accepts on behalf of Dominic, and then Miz attempts to cheap shot Cody, but it backfires, and Dominic cheap shots Cody, and then he leaves. So the whole opening segment was used to set up Cody versus The Miz, which was just followed, and Dominic versus Cody Rhodes. Now I have to say, is Rhea Ripley not going to defend at Money in the Bank? Her last title defense came at Night of Champions against Nattie, but she's not really involved in any storylines with the women. And I'm actually okay with the top titles looking similar on both fronts. Good synergy, and WWE can still work custom titles to sports of both genders. True. So I honestly think Rhea should be involved in more storylines. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make her this, badass, but she's not really interacting with the women's division here. So, what are the women chasing after? The Money in the Bank? That's what I think. So this leads into The Miz versus Cody Rhodes, which wasn't a bad match. I did not think this match was going to go the way it was going to go. Cody Rhodes was victorious here. But I kind of thought Dominic was going to get involved in this match. And I thought he was going to cost Cody this match. And also, everyone here who isn't subscribed or doesn't have the notification turn on, get that on. This lady's now part of the fantastic. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. And unless I missed something, but Cody looked like he had some blood on him during this match. I don't know if it was from, getting thrown into the steel steps or the ring post, but he looked like he had some blood. I don't know where that blood came from. But Cody Rhodes was victorious after he hit the Cody Cutter followed by the Crossroads to The Miz. Again, I thought Dominic was going to get involved in that and cost him the title. I mean, the match. So we cut backstage and we see Becky Lynch talking to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And then as she's walking to the ring, we see Chad Gable and Otis training Maxine. So that leads into a Becky Lynch in-ring promo. And she's basically talking about how she's been lucky to do a lot in her career except for win the Money in the Bank ladder match. But she's got a good feeling about this year. And she says by winning the briefcase, you have the power to take the champion off their game when she has the power to make the champion scared. When she thinks about people getting scared and she's learned from all her failures. Zoe Starks comes out and she says that Becky got famous due to getting her nose broken. And Becky says Starks has no personality. And then, of course, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green do get involved in this. And they basically want revenge for last week. I have to say, I was not a huge fan of this Becky Lynch promo. And I don't think Zoe Starks... How can I say this? Yeah, I just wasn't a huge fan of this segment at all. I feel like this segment did really nothing for Becky, and it did nothing really to further the feud between Zoe Starks and Becky Lynch. At least in my opinion, it didn't. So this leads into Becky Lynch versus Chelsea Green. And I just want to point out real quick before I get into the match, Chelsea Green wearing a matching attire paying homage to her former Vex tag team partner, Deonna Purrazzo, by wearing this matching attire. If you guys watch Impact or watched Impact Against All Odds, you would know that this is the attire that Deonna Purrazzo wore during her match at Against All Odds, and Chelsea Green wearing a matching pair. So see, this is what Deonna wore, and this is what Chelsea wore. Absolutely love that. Long live Vex. I miss Vex. I wish they would have been Knockouts champions for a lot longer than they were. So this match was alright. Of course, Becky Lynch is victorious after she makes Chelsea Green tap out. Poor Chelsea Green. So we get a quick backstage segment with Judgment Day. And like you see Finn Balor, he looks like he's just, like his mind is somewhere else. And he says that he's got a lot in his mind. Priest says that Dominic will beat Cody. And that he has a match for the Money in the Bank and he wants to go out there alone. So it's very interesting that Priest wants to go alone. This is the second time he doesn't want Judgment Day out there. I wonder if they're setting up to split Damian Priest off of Judgment Day. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. So I think they're setting up to split Damian Priest from Judgment Day. It looks like it. What do you guys think? You guys think Damian Priest is going to turn on Judgment Day, or is Judgment Day going to turn on Damian Priest? Okay. So this is into the men's Money in the Bank qualifier. It's Damian Priest versus Matt Riddle. And this was actually a really good match. You had Matt Riddle sending Damian Priest into the announce table. You had him kicking Damian Priest in the face, which he followed up with the German suplex. You had Damian Priest doing a broken arrow to Matt Riddle. The headlock driver, ouch, that looked like it hurt. Matt Riddle with a super fisherman suplex from the top. And of course, Damian Priest is victorious with the Razor's Edge. I think they'll turn on him in the end. Really? I think so too. Well, how are they going to turn on him? Evolution style? So, afterwards, at the end of this match, Imperium come out. And they come out without Vinci. And they attack Matt Riddle. If you guys remember last week on Raw, Matt Riddle did attack Vinci, which is why he wasn't with them. And which is why Imperium decided to attack Matt Riddle. We get a backstage interview with Cody Rhodes, and he's basically saying that his match with Dominic has been made official by Mommy, and he wishes Dominic good luck. So I honestly think that this feud is just a one-off match. It's probably gonna end at Money in the Bank. The only way I see Dominic beating Cody Rhodes is if Brock Lesnar gets involved in this, because they're doing that whole thing where Brock Lesnar hasn't answered Cody Rhodes' challenge. So we'll see. Wait and see. We get another backstage interview with Nattie, and she says that she doesn't know how to beat her anymore. It's gotten her nowhere. So it seems like they're gonna repackage her. I don't know into what, but based on this backstage interview, it does seem like they're gonna change her character. So very curious to see what they change her character to and where she would go from here. There were I kid you not, there was like multiple segments. Like we literally had 2 backstage interviews and another backstage segment before we got into the next match. So after this is followed up with the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn backstage interview. Like the whole pacing of Monday Night Raw is so off all the time. Like they'll go to commercial break, they'll come back. If there's a match starting, somebody walking down to the ring, that person will come out, and then they'll go to commercial again. It's like this whole pacing. It's like it's just so completely off. Kevin Owens says he was this close to beating Gunter, and Sami Zayn says it took 3 of them to beat Gunter. Sami, of course, asks Imperium where is Baldy. Remember last week they started a Baldy chant. Adam Pearce is what's going on, and Kevin Owens says he will defend the titles. So it's going to be Imperium versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for those undisputed tag titles. And Kevin Owens is just like losing it already. He's like, he's not happy that they keep getting interrupted. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. So we get Ricochet versus Bronson Reed. And one of the things I did like about this is that they seem to be building up Bronson Reed up like a monster. I mean, after Ricochet drop kicked him, he didn't go down so easily. I really like that crossbody followed by a springboard moonsault that Ricochet did to Bronson Reed. Nakamura came out and he was watching this match. But because Nakamura attacked Bronson Reed during the match, Bronson Reed actually won by DQ, and Ricochet was not happy about that at all. And even though this wasn't in the match, this was afterwards, I really like the superplex that Nakamura and Ricochet did to Bronson Reed. Then afterwards, we go backstage, and Ricochet approaches Adam Pearce wanting to talk about Bronson Reed. And then Nakamura appears, and Ricochet asks Nakamura what his problem is. And he says that they're going to finish what they started. And Nakamura tells Ricochet he can have Reed after he's done with it. So it seems to me like this is the most like random match. And like this ends in a DQ. I feel like we're going to get a triple threat match out of this somehow. Or somehow we're going to have Ricochet versus Nakamura at the end. But what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on this? Is the second time a Bronson Reed match ends in a DQ. Okay. So we get the Finn Balor in-ring promo. And he says that he wants to call out Seth freaking Rollins because he needs to talk to him, and he's waited 7 years to say this, and he's not going to wait another second. He talks about how 7 years ago he was a first-round draft pick. He beat Roman Reigns on his first night, and 3 weeks later he became the Universal Champion, the first one ever at that, by beating Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins comes out, And of course, the crowd is like singing his song. And this doesn't sit well with Finn Balor. So Seth Rollins asks Finn Balor what is so important he has to ruin the crowd's party. Finn Balor says that what should have been the highest of high for him became the lowest of low because of Rollins. He starts talking about his torn pec, his torn bicep, and the other injuries he sustained. He said he's going to complain about the injury because this is a tough business and injuries happen. He says that Balor doesn't even know Seth Rollins. And when Seth Rollins asked Finn Balor what he meant by that, he says that Rollins took everything from him, his momentum, his title, a year off of his career, and now he wants to take everything from Seth Rollins, his title, his momentum, a year of his career, and he's going to take everything at Money in the Bank. And so Rollins just starts laughing. And he says that this is the Finn Balor he's been waiting for. He says, Rollins says that he's made memories, moments, and that these people will never forget. He's made history. And he's gotten better every single day, and he's the best version of Seth freaking Rollins. So he asked Finn Balor what version of Finn Balor will show up to Money in the Bank. So they're running it back, except this time it's at Money in the Bank. But I feel like this isn't over. This isn't going to be just over at Money in the Bank. I feel like this is going to go on to SummerSlam. I honestly do think that. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, at SummerSlam? What better way than to have that match again? Only this time, Seth Rollins is walking in as champion, and they're not trying to win 8 times. You know what I'm saying. So it'd be interesting. Do you guys think this feud goes on to SummerSlam or it ends at Money in the Bank? I think it goes on to SummerSlam. I don't think this is going to end at Money in the Bank. We get Raquel Rodriguez versus Shayna Baszler. Raquel Rodriguez having to relinquish the tag titles because Liv Morgan got injured. So Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler are the current tag team champions. This match really didn't do anything for me. Ronda Rousey causing a distraction, which allowed Shayna Baszler to pick up the win. Ronda Rousey helping Shayna Baszler get the pin. This match did nothing for me, really. Okay, so this next match, Erik versus Chad Gable. I don't know why Erik felt the need to scream at Chad Gable, but commentary kept plugging about how the Viking Raiders are frightening. If they're so frightening, tell me why Chad Gable beat Erik here. He beat him. And not only that, but Valhalla chased Maxine. Maxine charged at her with an arm drag and took her down. Honestly, I feel like the Viking Raiders, it's just their booking has just been done so horrible. They were this unstoppable team in NXT. They came to the main roster, and over the last year, their push has been started, has been stopped. They had such momentum when they were on SmackDown, and then they left and came back and lost their momentum. And now they're just there. You want to reestablish the tag team division, reestablish the Viking Raiders. But they just, you would think that they'd be this really badass team, but they're not. They just freaking lost to Chad Gable. So, I don't know, but I just feel like the Viking Raiders could be doing so much more than being jobbers. But smells like Vince McMahon booking right there. Yeah, he wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't like the Viking Raiders. That Viking Rules match they had on SmackDown, that was actually a really fun match. And, they should do that more often. But nope. I don't know why they don't do that. You guys know what I'm talking about? It was they had a boat. And it was on SmackDown. It was like a Viking. I don't remember. Oh, it was against the New Day. It was a Viking Rules match. It was in September of last year. And that was actually a really good match. I don't know why we haven't gotten those Viking Raiders, but We'll see where they go. So interesting. We get a backstage segment of Finn Balor. He's talking to JD McDonough. So I feel like if they kick out I feel like if they kick out Damian Priest, they're gonna replace him with JD McDonough. And so they're talking about the Money in the Bank. Well, after JD leaves, Damian Priest shows up, and they're talking about Money in the Bank. And Finn Balor asked Damian Priest if if he were to win the contract, would he cash in on him? And Priest gets offended by Finn Balor asking him that. He says that Seth Rollins is causing tensions between them. So it's interesting that Finn Balor would ask Damian Priest that. And do you guys think do you guys think Damian Priest was being honest when he said that he wouldn't cash in on Finn Balor? Or do you guys think he was just saying that so that Finn Balor wouldn't so he could feel at ease? I don't know. I don't think Damian Priest would cash in on Roman Reigns. So we'll see. Rinse and repeat with Rhea's new title. It's a copy of Seth's title. Exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. It's a copy of Seth freaking Rollins' title, except with the white stripes instead of a black stripe. So we get the Undisputed WWE Tag Team title match. I skipped a segment, my bad. We get a backstage interview with Seth freaking Rollins. I think Balor might be out of Judgment Day. Oh, you think, okay, this is interesting. You think Finn Balor might be out of Judgment Day. That's interesting. Okay. You're doing it the other way. Okay. I could see that too. I could see Finn Balor either being out of Judgment Day or Damian Priest getting kicked out of Judgment Day. So I guess we have to wait and see what direction they go with. We get a Seth Rollins backstage interview, and we find out he's doing an open challenge next week, and they are in Cleveland. So kind of makes me believe that maybe a certain, Johnny Gargano might answer that challenge. I know Logan Paul's also returning next week, and they had a match previously, so maybe we have to wait and see. Who do you guys think is going to answer that open challenge? Let me know if you're watching this on the live chat or in the comment section. It says, if they did kick Finn out, it'll probably be by Dominic's design. Oh, okay. I see. Interesting. So we get the Undisputed 30 Tag Team title match. It is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Imperium in the form of Gunter and Ludwig Kaiser, because Vinci was not there, thanks to Matt Riddle. Let me see. I think Gargano will be returning next week to face. Oh, yeah, I think that too. So as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out, I forgot to mention. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out, and then that's when we get the Seth Rollins backstage interview. Tell me why that happened. Why they went out there and we just had to have this backstage interview with Seth Rollins while they were in the ring waiting for Imperium to come out. Why? That made no sense. I'm telling you guys, this whole pacing of Monday Night Raw is so off all the time. Also, main event, the crowd was really into it. Oh, yeah. They were. The crowd really woke up with that superplex that Nakamura and Ricochet did to Bronson Reed. So you had Sami Zayn trying to chest chop Gunter. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea, but he thought that was a good idea. And you had Gunter doing a side headlock takedown to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn doing an arm drag to Ludwig Kaiser. He hit him with the elbow too. You got a senton to Kaiser by Kevin Owens. Gunter cheap shotted Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kaiser distracted the referee so that Gunter can drop Sami Zayn on the ring apron. But of course, it's like, I have to say, Imperium looked really good during this match, but it wasn't meant to be. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were victorious here. in this main, but this was a really good main event, if you ask me. What did you guys think of the main event? Did you guys like it? But overall, I really was not a huge fan of tonight's Raw. I just felt like a lot of this stuff, like, you know. I mean, Miz versus Cody was okay. I didn't really care for that Becky Lynch promo. Becky Lynch versus Chelsea Green was okay. Let me see. 3 out of 10. Another awful Raw. Yeah, definitely. The qualifying match was definitely really good. But we had so many backstage segments. And why is it that Bronson Reed's matches keep ending in DQ? Like, the pacing really didn't help. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10, honestly, because I was not a huge fan of tonight's Raw. Zoe Starks and Becky Lynch was awful. Zoe Starks is awful on the make. Was she always that awful? I didn't watch her in NXT, so you got to fill me in. Was she always? So with Gunter reaching 1 year with the IC title recently, I'm very curious to see if they let him surpass Honky Tonk. I think they are. I think that they are gonna let him surpass Honky Tonk Man's record. Otherwise he would have lost the title by now. So I think he is. But with that being said, you guys, that concludes this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I know it's late for some of you guys, where some of you guys are at. No, she was terrible. She wasn't this terrible in NXT, huh? Maybe she was nervous. Maybe. You know, sometimes the nerves get better, people. I know it's late for some of you guys, so thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I will see you guys Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Bye.